Good evening. Praise Yahuwah. HallaluYahuah. Shalum. Sorry for butchering all the names and the soundings of text, by the way. This is Genesis 3. And the Nahash, which is traditionally rendered the serpent. See explanatory notes, serpent and Nahash. I just want to point out that traditionally means the majority just decided to render it as serpent. It doesn't mean that's exactly what it means. Just to clarify. And the Nahash was more crafty than all the lives of the field which HallaluYahuah had made. And he said to the woman, "Is it true that Yahuwah has said, 'Do not eat of every tree of the garden, except for this one tree'?" But he decided to leave that part out because, being crafty and deceptive. And the woman said to the Nahash, "We are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden." Now, this is Adam's fault. I strongly believe this, that he gave her an extra fence or command, whichever you want to call it, that led to her eventually eating from the fruit because he lied to her and said that if you touch it, you would die. Yahuwah said, if you eat it, you would die. Yahuwah told them to guard the garden, and that includes touching. So obviously you could touch the fruit, you just intend to it, you just weren't allowed to eat it. We are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahuwah has said, "Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die." Now they currently would live forever, but once they eat from it, they would have a time where they would perish, therefore they would die. They just didn't understand what was being said to them. And the Nahash said to the woman, "You shall certainly not die, for Yahuwah knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil." See that? Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. Yahuwah didn't say don't touch it. He said don't eat it. For Yahuwah knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. She wanted to be like Yahuwah, just like Hasatan did. And she also gave to her husband, who didn't question it at all, with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. And they heard the voice of HallaluYahuah walking about in the garden toward the wind of the day. So they heard Yahusha. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of HallaluYahuah among the trees of the garden. And HallaluYahuah called unto Adam and said to him, "Where are you?" Whoopsies. "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." And Yahuwah said, "Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" And the man said, "The woman whom you gave to me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." And HallaluYahuah said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" And the woman said, "The Nahash deceived me, and I ate." Do you see this blame game? They're always blaming someone else for their own problems. Adam blamed Yahuwah, and the woman blamed the Nahash. But each individually, if they guarded what Yahuwah said, would not have come to that outcome. And HallaluYahuah said to the Nahash, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all livestock and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you are to go and eat dust all the days of your life," kind of like a snake. "And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, Yahusha. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. It's talking about Yahusha. To the woman, Yahuwah said, I greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. Bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for your husband, and he does rule over you. And the only way for children to rule their households is for the father to lose his position of power. And to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the trees of which I commanded you, saying, do not eat of it, cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life, and the ground shall bring forth thorns and thistles for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you are to eat bread until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you return. And the man called his wife's name Hawa, because she became the mother of all living. And HallaluYahuah made coats of skin for the man and his wife, and dressed them. And HallaluYahuah said, see, the man has become like one of us, Yahuwah and Yahusha, like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. So being able to live forever again, and as well as knowing both good and evil. So HallaluYahuah sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And Yahuwah drove the man out, and Yahuwah placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way of the tree of life, which, by the way, on earth has been destroyed. The Garden of Eden has been destroyed. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this reading. HallaluYahuah. Shalum.